Hello and a warm welcome to this edition of Desi Download with me, Satnam Rana. Well, 1 year on from the devastating floods that affected around 20 million people, some people say that what happened in Pakistan has been forgotten. That's why husband and wife couple Irfan and Zakia Iqbal have decided to trek to base camp on the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. During Ramadan and the month of fasting, they plan to travel to part of the affected areas in Pakistan to see firsthand what the situation is. The couple from Batley near Leeds in West Yorkshire have been speaking to Desi Download. Reporter Ruchi Tandon.
People seem to have forgot about the floods that occurred in Pakistan, and it's just to build awareness, try and get as much sort of media attention as we can so that people will contribute towards this cause, which is much needed.
We thought this would be a fantastic way just to highlight the cause. The people that have been affected have huge challenges to get over every single day. They don't know whether they'll have food available, they don't know if they'll have shelter. So just to do something small really wouldn't highlight their plight.
And one of the things that I like about the Penny Appeal charity is the funding goes to where it needs to go. It doesn't go through middle people.
Do you think that's a concern for people here who are trying to raise money, British Pakistani communities who are trying to give money to the devastated areas? Do you think it's a concern that, you know, is the money going straight there, or is there a middle?
Definitely. That's a huge, massive concern. The stigma that's attached to providing funds, not generally just to Pakistan but to third world countries, is massive. And it's in particular with Pakistan, what seemed to have happened, and it was well documented in the media, that the funds that were sent, and I believe Britain was in the forefront of giving towards a charity in Pakistan, and the funds that was sent, the stigma that's attached is that the government tend to take it, or it's taken by other organisations by the time they've got through all the red tape. I think people felt let down because they gave their hard-earned money to the cause and they were then told it didn't actually get to where it needed to. And I think people got let down because of that. And I think due to the stigma that was attached to it, people just sort of slowly stopped talking about it. And I think that this really does affect people. Even generally, as we've been raising, people have been saying, well, where's the funds going? How are they going to get there?
Am I right in thinking that you're planning to visit the area?
Yeah, it's at the end of this month while we're fasting, and we've decided to go and just see firsthand really how these people are actually affected.
I think we need to sort of get a sense of reality. Looking at figures and facts and figures, generally people tend to switch off. Even images nowadays don't seem to sort of like spark that interest within people. It's us personally going there, feeling what it is. We're going to be in the state of fasting. It's going to be in a difficult place. We're going to be trying our best to relate to what people are going through, what state that they're living in, and we're hoping that that's going to give us the tools to explain to people this is what's happening there. We've seen it ourselves. It's not just a statistic. It's not just something that's just being said. And also, I think, although Everest is, and it's called the Everest Challenge, and it's going to be a challenge. It's
humongous challenge.
And I think that us going there and experiencing what people are going through when it does get difficult, we can use that as inspiration, that as hard as climbing Mount Everest is going to be, at least we have food, at least we're going to have clean water, we're going to have supplies there, we're going to have medical supplies, and I think that will give us a bit more of an inspiration that we might be climbing it might be difficult, but it's not as difficult as what people have to face.
Now, going back to the actual climb, I'm assuming that both of you are mountain climbers or have done mountain climbing before.
We've never climbed a mountain before. We're complete novices. It's going to be our first attempt at any form of mountain climbing and things. But I do firmly blame my wife. It was her idea, and it was a case of, well, if she's volunteered, I can't not volunteer. The reality of it's sort of setting in now, having to do the training and the exercise, and I always sort of have a bit of a laugh and a joke and say, well, we've started walking around the local park, but I don't really know how much that is helping. We've
stopped training at the minute just because the fasts are quite long. So once we get a bit further down and we get a little bit more used to it, then we might start training again.
I think the fasting is a training in its own right. They are long fasts at the moment, and I think it's training, but I think it's mental training as well.
Irfan and Zakia Iqbal speaking about their trek in aid of the Penny Appeal's Rebuilding Pakistan appeal. And they'll be doing that trek in December. And of course, they'll be travelling out to Pakistan during Ramadan in just a few weeks' time.